Firstly, it's a very good product. It is a secure product. It liberates your vehicle in the sense that previously all parcels that you used to have in your car, you needed to move it into the cabin of the vehicle when you leave the vehicle behind. So obviously now with a Rigidek, everything is nice and safe and sound in the back of the vehicle, and therefore you do not need to move anything into the vehicle. It's safe, it's secure, it's weatherproof.
The idea for Rigidek came about in 1995 when I was in the US and I bought myself a Chevy S10, one of the very popular pickups in the US. And it had a color-coded fiberglass cover on the back, and I really saw in the wind and the rain and the snow how well a covered pickup worked. And then when I came back to South Africa in later part of the year, I bought myself a little Volkswagen Caddy pickup, and I converted the canvas cover into a hard cover, and I really thought about making a business out of it. And at that stage, between myself and my late father, we built about 10, 15 for friends and family. But at that stage, the only pickups, or the only useful pickups in South Africa were farmers and plumbers and electricians. And it was only after Eskom had bought my company in around 2002, the company I had then, that the market for pickups had completely changed in South Africa. It became a mom's taxi. You had the who's who driving it. You had double cabs. And then I realized the time was right to start Rigidek.
Every single bucket out there has got different dimensions. So we start with a team of very, very highly skilled people, guys that know what they're doing, guys that know every one of the buckets like the back of their hand. And then every single vehicle is hand built. So if you order a Ford Wildtrak, for instance, those dimensions are pulled up, those templates are pulled up, and the guys make sure that they order all the materials for that vehicle. It then gets hand built. Now to build it takes a couple of hours, it's not the end of the world, but then there's still a painting process and then the actual fitment process, which could take about an hour and a half per vehicle.
I don't call myself an engineer, I like to be referred as an imagineer, because there's a lot of imagining that goes in as well as engineering. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look obviously at the styling of the particular vehicle, and you want the system to fit the vehicle. But at the end of the day, I came up with all the designs that we do. We came up with a very simple system called the Triple SE system, and all it refers to, we start with safety. The very first thing, people have kids in the vehicles, the vehicle might be involved in an accident. So we came up with a system, the first thing you want is safety. The second thing is styling. You want to make sure that the styling form follows function. It doesn't detract from the vehicle. If the vehicle has rounded curves, you want the cover to have rounded curves, not something square. And then the next S would be simplicity. Once you've got the safety and the styling, you want something that's really simple. Simple in terms of manufacturing, simple in terms of use. And you don't want the customer to struggle. If you think on the Apple iPhone and the revolution they brought with a beautiful, simple user interface, that someone of 80 can pick up a phone and actually start dialing with it immediately. So that's our goal, is something really simple. And then the next one would be economy, the part of the SSE principle, and it refers to the economy for the user, and also the economy for us to build it, so that there is actually a margin and you can make a profit selling these.
Because every one of these products are hand built by a team of highly skilled individuals, the quality process begins the moment that the first materials is delivered. So we get materials from all over the show, many of it imported materials, some of it locally made, and every single sheet of aluminium, every single part has to be inspected by the quality control manager. We then have different people, each doing their part, cutting profiles, doing the sheets, everything through to the painting itself. And at the end of the day, before that is actually fitted to the vehicle, there's a full quality control check, where the people will inspect the quality of the materials, the building process, the paint work, and then after the deck is fitted to the vehicle, there's another quality process to make sure that all the remote control unlocking, all the locking systems, if it goes to certain delivery vehicles, we check that the deck is watertight, it goes through a watertight seal. So the quality check list is quite comprehensive.
Of course it's still a bakkie, because what you can do is you can remove the Rigidek, hang it up in your garage, drive around with your fridge or your piano, and then when you've delivered it, put it back onto the vehicle again.
Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to be a little bit like Coca-Cola. All my businesses are always trying to find a word that would define the product, and that could, if I can use the example of the Hoover vacuum cleaner in the UK, it became so prolific that still today people would say, I hoover the carpet, and they might even say, I hoover the carpet with the Electrolux. I'm not realizing the coincidence there. But so I wanted to come up with a word. So I combined two words, the one which is rigid, something that's solid and strong, and it creates a mental picture of something that's really rigid and strong. And a deck is something that is flat and that you can stand on, also sturdy. So combining the two words and using the Afrikaans spelling of a deck, D-E-K, which incidentally also means daxel in Afrikaans, which also means a lid. So the play of words ended with the word Rigidek.
To build a deck, depending on the type of deck, I would say a flea deck, the lower end product, could be hour and a half maybe to build a vehicle. If we're building a custom deck for a Ford F-150 or a Lumina SS, that could take 2 days.
We have always had a vision, and I had a mentor who taught me, an American, and he said, you know, think globally, act locally. And the idea was, when we did the design and development of the product, you will see on my desk I have the Ford F-150, a little scale model. And all the actual products designed for South Africa was also designed to fit on the Ford F-150, which is the biggest selling pickup in the world. And so our vision has always been, you know, think globally, act locally, develop the product locally, get all the snags out, make sure that the customers like it, and if they like it, then to distribute it around the world. We currently have patents in the US, we have patents in Australia, and we have a lot of about 17 patents pending around the world. So the goal is in the course of 2014 to actually start exporting it.